I am outside today and recording. I felt to do that, and it's the 30th of October and Sunday, but I am not in a church. I want to talk to you instead. So I sit in my neighborhood where I live, and there is traffic the whole time. It's very busy, even on Sundays. So I was happy to see that my statistic analysis of the podcast, it will have going down, and yesterday it was only one listener on SoundCloud. But I know that I should not be sad about it, because I have other platforms where there is more people that listen. But I like SoundCloud to recording on, and I look at the statistic of it. But today it was someone in Ohio that have downloaded 288 episodes. And so there is sometimes it's coming people that find my podcast and really want to know what's going on in my life and why I am talking like I do, and how I could get contact with heaven in that way I have. And you can't understand it if you only listen at one episode, and the latest episode I have done. You need to know about me and my life before God come, and everything that come to this point. Because I was also thinking wrong in the beginning of my podcast. I didn't understood many things from the beginning in the podcast, and then have it developed. I have been educated by heaven more and more, step by step, the whole time. And if you listen from the start of my podcast, then you also will come to understand how it's working with heaven and God and these things. And if you listen at the podcast, you will see that I had a religion from the beginning, but later on I start to lose it. And now I'm free from religion or tradition, what man is telling us. Now I only listen to what God is telling me and what heaven is telling me. And when they have got this trust from me, they start also to come down and started to talk to me, but in the recording. They wanted me to recording. That's why I started the podcast. It was not on my own I started the podcast. It was the Spirit that told me to start a podcast, and I didn't know what it was. But I started because I have faith. With faith you can do everything, even if you don't understand it from the beginning. But you hear something in the air that is good, that you know is good, and you do it. And then you build up a trust from heaven because you do what they tell you to do. That's how you build up this that I have done in 22 years. I didn't know anything about God and heaven. I was like most of people that I was not thinking about God in that way, not at all. But in the beginning of my thinking about God and heaven, it was before God come. I was thinking maybe it's like a brick in a game, like chess. You move those items, what is called in English. And I was thinking, I am like that. And then I saw a magazine, a cartoon magazine, and I saw this about, they were talking, two men was talking to each other, and they say, oh, they were so big, they were the best in the world, they were so proud men. And then suddenly it come water on them, and they flash away. And then in the next cartoon picture, it was people like us that, what was it in the sink? Someone say, I don't know what it was. It was some dirt in the sink, but it's gone now because I took the water on it. And I was thinking, for my whole life I have thinking like that. I was only a teenager in that time. I was thinking, maybe is it like that we are so small and we think we are the universe, that we know everything and we have control over things, and then are we nothing, like those small things in those that was saying they were so big and proud and important, and then they were not important. It was dirt that going down in the water. That was a cartoon that was very interesting, and I have held it my whole life thinking about that. So I had some of these questions, and when I was teenager, I could wake up in the night and have angst about that we growing old and there is nothing, that life have no meaning. I sit up in the night and only today I understand that it was some spirit that hit me in that way. And I was thinking that I'd be scared. And I say to my friend that I don't want to live more than to 50 years old. I say it was very old for me when I was a teenager. I was so scared about life. I was so scared about death. And now I am in this. I have developed so much in these years, and it was because I respond on it. I had a growing faith in something else than only this life, that it must be something more than only this life. And so it started. I had this foundation, but it was until I couldn't take any more of my very evil, bad life I had around me, and I wanted to do a suicide. And I prepared for suicide. I should have done suicide because I have never liked these people that fake suicide. They know they can survive, but they want people to see them and act, and they should be seen. And that is very dangerous, because if you playing with that to be seen, and you take a little, you survive, but that can damage your body, and then you be full paralyzed in your body, and you can't do anything, and you lay in there. You can't even take suicide, because you are laying there and can't move, because you took something to not kill you, but people should see you. So it's very dangerous things you are doing when you are walking on the limit of live and die, when you hold the nose and mouth of your friend, hold your nose and mouth, and so you faint and you'll be unconscious, and then you wake up when you start to breathe again. That is very, very dangerous. Many have died on playing like that. So I had a question today that I wanted the spirit to answer me about, but now I have forgotten what it was. And maybe I do that. Maybe tonight I maybe get a hint of a spirit, what it was, the question I had, and get the answer tonight. And I was thinking maybe it's too much disturbing here where I sit, but it was some spirit that was in me when I was talking. You maybe heard that I was breathing out like when the spirit's going in. So something in the message was it from a spirit. And it's a beautiful, almost summer day today. So I am on my way to drive my scooter. And but I'm so happy that it was someone that downloaded all the episodes in Ohio, and that is really Swedish area, and maybe you want to have some contact with Sweden and are curious about your Swedish DNA. It's very, very much people in Ohio that is from Sweden, not themselves, but from other generations back, and that is very nice. But maybe are related, you and I. It was in Columbus, in Ohio. There is a big city, so is that People can't know you because I say this. They can only guess, but not know it for sure who you are if you don't tell them. But I don't tell you. Columbus is, I don't know how many, that is maybe 200,000 people there, so they can't know. And I have talking about Ohio before because it was a related man. I don't remember anymore about it, but I think it was a preacher, or if it was a political person, I don't know, but it was something that people know about his history in Columbus, Ohio. So you maybe listen at that episode when I'm talking about him. And he did. I remember a little now that it's because the spirit is him that telling that he had the island inside United States like that. So he was very known person. I have very much related people that have this, that they success, but it's very much that doesn't success. And that is also one of my history. And so it's not only those people that I am related to many presidents in the United States. But there is also people that it's very much in my DNA to drink, alcoholic. And in before it was nothing about drugs because they couldn't get drugs. But today it's drugs also. And addicted. Addicted is a DNA that is strong, and that I'm not proud of it, but they belong to the DNA, and so many success, but also many didn't, and that's but. In God, in His mercy, He can help them to be free from everything and come into heaven. You don't need to be perfect. There is a chance for you in the heavenly court when you understand what's wrong you have done in your life and ask God for forgiveness. And then you can come into heaven. So it's very few people that come to hell. Most people come into heaven, but then in heaven there is many places where you can be. And I think you, after knowing your life, how wrong it was, that I think you will be happy to only be in heaven. And it doesn't matter for you that you are on the meadow where the most people are and playing there like a child and have fun and not thinking about what was before and not want to go back to the life on earth because you don't remember it. You are only a child and have not those thinking about what was before I was born. But we that have I I am going to stop now to not ask it to come back on this planet, because I did it, and it have been so very hard on me to have coming back and try to change this planet. Like I was a man before. Yesterday it was a spirit that say I have been born again to earth 6 times. Did this spirit told me yesterday. So I don't know, because it's a circle I'm going into and learn what to do. But I was in the throne room with God, but I asked to come back once again, and God make me be a woman this time. Of some reason did he wanted me to be a woman in this generation, the last generation. And I maybe he is coming and tell me. Maybe when I am in Jerusalem, he will tell me why he sent me back to this planet as a woman and not a man this time. Now it's time for me to end here. I'm going to drive away. So thank you for listening at my podcast, and I hope you understand what's going on, and remember this is the last generation, so it's very, very important that you teach your children what is important, so they come to understand, so they can be safe. Because some are not going to be killed here on earth when the last day is coming. They are waiting here and be together with all that is in heaven. And so they must be prepared to welcome heaven into their life. And it's the you that is important for them to teach them to understand this about heaven. I can only teach you that listen and most you that download all the episodes to want to hear from the beginning how it started. I try to repeat some of this talking, because I know that you listen only on one episode, or some few that you want to listen at, that you think it's important for you. But every episode is important for you. I hope you understand, you that want to know. So thank you for listening, and God bless you.